This is Cricut Infusible Ink. If you're curious about this material, if you want to know how to use it, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know, from the tools, the supplies, and exactly how to use it. We're going to make 2 projects together. Let's jump in. If you are just getting started with Cricut, this picture may feel like a lot of tools, but if you're a seasoned Cricut crafter, you probably have a lot of this on hand already. So this is everything you need to get started with Infusible Ink. A few important things to note. You're going to need an Easy Press and an Easy Press mat for any of these projects. You're also going to need compatible Infusible Ink blanks. Cricut makes a ton. Today we are going to use the tote bag and the ceramic coaster. Let's start in Cricut Design Space. I have found 2 images that I really like. This leaf is already in the shape and size of a ceramic coaster. Then I found this phrase that I like. I want to make sure that this phrase is sized appropriately to fit on the tote bag. I want to cut everything on one mat, so I'm going to select both images and make them the same color. Then I want to make sure that my Maker 3 is selected, and I can click Make It. I'm going to select this to be cut on a mat, and then I'm going to click Mirror. We're going to be cutting these from Infusible Ink transfer sheets, so I can search for that specific material and then head over to my machine. Infusible Ink comes in rolls, and it's kind of a hard and stiff product. You want to make sure your hands are clean and avoid touching this product too much because you don't want the oils from your hands to transfer over. So I've cut the Infusible Ink down to size, and I'm going to place it on the mat exactly where it showed in Design Space. Now I'm just going to load it into my machine and let it cut. Weeding Infusible Ink is very different from other materials. Because this is such a stiff and rigid material, you need to crack your cut lines. So you can take the paper and kind of roll it a little bit until you hear cracking, and then just slowly pull the excess off. I find using my fingers works best, but you can also use a tweezer or the weeding tool to get any excess pieces out. We're going to work with the coaster first, and I'm going to start by prepping my Easy Press. Always check the Cricut heat guide. You can find a link down in the description to know exactly what settings to use. For this coaster, my Easy Press needs to be at 400 degrees for 240 seconds. I'm going to let that preheat, and then we can prep the coaster. You want to start with that Easy Press mat and then lay down a white piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to grab that leaf decal and I'm going to trim off any excess plastic that's around it so it fits perfectly on my coaster. Now I'm going to make sure that the ink side is facing the shiny side of the coaster, and I'm going to put them together. Heat-resistant tape is going to be your friend in any of these processes because it really helps hold that image in place. Now I'm going to place this coaster upside down. This may feel a little backwards, but I promise this will work. We're going to place a piece of butcher paper over the top. This paper comes with your Infusible Ink. Only use it once and then toss it out. Now I'm going to place my Easy Press on top, hit that start button, and walk away. I don't need any extra pressure. Now when I pull it back, I need to let this cool. So I'm going to pull off that butcher paper and just let everything cool completely. Once I can touch it with my hands, I can start to pull off that transfer, and look at this beautiful leaf that I have. It's sublimated right into the coaster and it's smooth. We're going to repeat the same process with the tote bag. So I'm going to add the cardstock to the Easy Press mat and then put the whole thing inside the tote bag. There's a couple things we need to do to prep the tote bag or any fabric material that you're using with Infusible Ink. The first thing I want to do is use the Easy Press at a low setting with the butcher paper to get out any moisture or wrinkles that are in the fabric. Then a lint roller over the top to remove any debris. The littlest piece of fuzz can ruin your image. Now it's time to put the transfer on. This is going to go ink side down on top of the tote bag. Then I'm placing a piece of butcher paper over the top. The heat settings are a little bit different on the Easy Press for a tote bag versus a coaster. I've set it at 385 for 40 seconds. Now I can just place my Easy Press on top. Again, I don't need any extra pressure. If you do apply pressure and move it around a little bit, you can get ghosting on your image, meaning the ink is going to move around, and we don't want that. Once the time's up, I'm going to pull off my Easy Press, pull off the butcher paper, and again, leave it alone until it cools completely. Once it's cool, I can pull it off and the ink has transferred completely to the tote bag. This leaves such a beautiful look. It is nice and smooth. This is going to wash and wear incredibly well. So that is how you use Cricut Infusible ink. You know exactly what supplies you need, and you know the process for making both a coaster and a tote bag. There's a ton of options out there for what you can create. I hope this inspired you to go make something on your own. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.